thank you for joining me. I just wanted to film a little something in the fact that it's the winter solstice, so just to kind of mark the turning point in the year. We've looked in my classes and through my workshops, we've marked the spring equinox, the summer solstice, the autumn equinox, and so seeing as it's the end of term and we're coming to Christmas, we're not together on the winter solstice. So this is just really a class, a short class, to help you to mark this turning point in the year, to celebrate this transition to winter. Winter solstice is the shortest day, so hopefully from here on in the day should start to, well, they will start to lengthen, but that we'll feel them lengthening. Also as an opportunity to kind of take stock of where you're at, particularly because it's the end of the year. So taking stock of what's happened this year, thinking about what we want to achieve, setting an intention for the next chapter, and leaving behind what no longer serves us. So we're going to go straight into it, start with a breath focus. Just really want to take a couple of minutes to focus on the breath, to center, to ground ourselves. Okay, so we're going to get you just to bring your hands into Gyan Mudra, so your thumb, index finger to touch, extending the other 3 fingers away. Just sitting up nice and tall. You can sit cross-legged. I'm in Ardha Padmasana, half lotus. You can come to full lotus if you want to do full lotus. If you're comfortable, you can just come into Sukhasana, just kind of like an easy cross-legged position, or you can sit up on your heels. So find a position you're comfortable in for a couple of minutes. Let the spine be long. Close the eyes or cast the gaze down. And just start to follow the natural breath. So just taking a nice deep breath in, and then exhaling. Breathing in, so through the nose, as long as you don't have a blocked nose or a cold or anything. Breathing in, exhaling, releasing. Really just following the flow of the breath with your mind. Watching the breath as it flows in through the nose, and following the breath as it flows out through the nose. Being aware of the sensation of the breath entering the nostril. Maybe you can feel the slightly cool air entering the body through the nose. And with the exhalation, being aware of the breath as it leaves the nostrils, maybe being slightly warmed by the body. Slightly warmer air leaving the body. Breathing in, sitting up tall, checking the posture, and being aware of the shoulders, releasing the shoulders. Just let the arms be loose, supported. Breathing in, feeling as if you're drawing energy up from the earth all the way up the spine to the crown of the head. Exhaling, and we're sending the breath back down the spine, rooting down into the earth, through the sit bones, into the mat, into the ground, into the earth. Breathing in, drawing up earth energy from the root chakra all the way up the chakras to the crown of the head, top of the breath. Exhaling and releasing, sending that breath back down the spine, through the energy centers, through the tailbones, sit bones, into the earth. Rooting ourselves down, finding that connection, that earth, that grounded connection. And then we're going to breathe into our bellies. If you find it helpful, you can take your hand onto your belly. So breathing in, a deep abdominal breath, and releasing on the exhalation. And take both hands if it's helpful. Breathing in. Just feel that rise, that expansion with the inhalation and the softening with the out breath. Breathing in and exhaling. Bringing the hands, or just the awareness, don't have to use the hands, around the rib cage, maybe slightly to the outside as you breathe in. Expand sideways into the hands or just into the chest, rib cage. Exhale, release. Breathing in, expanding the side ribs. Exhaling and releasing. Again, one last time, breathing in, just feeling that expansion, sideways movement, isolating the movement to the rib cage. Exhale, release. And then the top of the breath around the collarbone. So again, if you find it helpful, you can place the hands to the collarbones, breathing in. Just trying to direct the flow of breath to the collarbones, the upper chest. Exhale, release. The hands are here just to lightly guide the breath, breathing in. Exhale, releasing. One last time, breathing in. Exhaling. Return the hands to the knees. We're just going to combine the 3-part breath, the 3 movements, breathing into the belly, drawing the breath up into the ribs, into the mid-chest area. Top of the breath to the top of the chest. Exhale, releasing from the belly, releasing from the ribs, releasing from the upper chest. Do that once more, breathing into the belly, expanding into the abdomen, rib cage, upper chest, and then exhaling, softening around the belly, the ribs, upper chest. And then just release the 3-part breath, that's the full yogic breath. Take a couple of natural breaths. Allow the breath to settle. Just feel the effects of the breathing on the body. Notice how the body feels. Notice how the mind feels. And then gradually bringing your awareness back into the space. So releasing the mudra, the hand gesture, and then when you're ready, opening your eyes. Okay, grounded, centered. We're going to come up into Parigasana, gate pose, and it's often overlooked. So we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to take your right leg out to the side. Give yourself a bit more space. You can have your foot, I tend to turn my foot inwards so it's kind of parallel to the long end of the mat just to protect my knee. If your knees feel okay pointing outwards, extending outwards, you can have the foot extending outwards. So your choice as to foot placement. Hips are forward. We're just going to take one hand to the extended leg, so not on the knee, above the knee to begin with. Breathing the arms up, breathing in, and then exhaling to the side. So you might find that your hand travels down a little bit now to below the knee. The gaze can just come forward. You can take the gaze up a little bit. No strain through the shoulders, so try to keep the shoulders relaxed. Just feel that stretch along the side waist. It's not an awful lot of movement here, but you should feel quite a nice release along the side body. Gate pose, Parigasana. Breathing. And then we're going to come into a modified side plank. So we're just going to take one hand to the floor. So you're just coming exactly the same kind of alignment, bringing the other arm over. You can sweep it round if you like. So you're just taking a nice long position. You can point the toe away here. So you're kind of stretching all the way from the toe to the fingertips. If you feel unsteady, you can tuck the back toe. That might help. Okay, breathing. And then we'll sweep back and we're going to come through child pose. So let's just come for a moment into child pose. Just take a moment here. If the head isn't to the floor, it doesn't matter. You can rest the head onto the fists or onto the forearms. So just taking a moment. Notice where you kind of feel the posture in the body. Breathing. And then we can do the same to the other side, so coming back up into kind of high kneeling. Other leg extends out. Remember, the foot can come in or it can point away from you. One hand to above the knee first of all, I would suggest. Breathing the arm up, shoulders stay down, so not like this, shoulders stay down, and then over. Gaze can be up or you can keep the gaze forward. Hand might then slide down a little lower down the leg, so below the knee. And then really feel that release, and really feel it into the sideways, so come into the back as well. Shoulders away from the ears and breathing. You might find that you automatically kind of send the breath into the expanded space here, into the stretch. Just taking a couple of breaths. Parigasana, gate pose, okay? Coming, same as we did on the other side, so one hand will come to the floor. You can just take the arm over, or you can sweep the arm around. I'm going to plant a bit in the way. So again, your gaze can come up. You can keep the gaze forwards. You can point the toe away. So feel like you're stretching all the way from the toes to the fingertips. Breathing. Remember, you can tuck that back toe if you feel kind of unsteady here. Tucking the back toe can help. Just let the head be comfortable. Breathing. Okay, and then coming forward. So we're going to come sitting onto our heels. We're going to clasp the hands behind the body, and we're going to fold forward. So it will be different for different people. So when we fold forward, you might just be sitting up, opening into the shoulders. So if this is enough, stay here. If you feel you can go further forward, go further forward. Option to bring the head down towards the floor and open into the shoulders. Not forcing anything, not making the body do anything it doesn't want to do or is not ready to do, but just opening into the shoulders as far as your body will allow. Okay, so there or there, either way, I'll take a couple of breaths and slowly come back up to sitting. Okay, from here we're going to come onto all fours. So have a look at Majjhariasana and Vittilasana, so our cat-cow position. So on all fours, your wrists under your shoulders, knees under the hips, trying to find a neutral position to begin with, and then just working with the breath. So as you breathe in, your gaze comes forward, shoulders away from the ears, gentle curve in the low back, not forcing anything, but just allowing your belly to kind of draw you down towards the mat, breathing in. Exhaling, tucking the bottom, chin comes towards the chest, and you really open into that upper back. So really scooping up, drawing the belly button towards the spine, breathing out. Inhaling, gaze comes forward. Exhaling and tucking under. Okay, just doing this a couple of times. Breathing in and exhaling. And then from here, we're going to come back to a neutral position, and then we're going to have a look at thread the needle. So I'm going to come face on. I think this will show a little bit better. So from here, we're going to take the right hand and slide it behind the left hand. So you're coming down, so the side of your face possibly is to the floor. Actually, if I come this way, you'll see. The side of the face comes down towards the floor. So it might not touch the floor. You might find yourself more in this position. That's fine. Just work with a twist into the upper back. If your head will come down, it just means you're resting in the position a little bit more. Trying to keep the hips kind of level. And then you're working deep twist into the upper back. If you want to go a little deeper, you can come into a prayer twist. So the hands come into prayer here, gaze can come up, or the gaze can stay forward. It's a really lovely release into the spine. Okay, but stay with the level that feels right for you. Just taking a couple of breaths here. Okay, and then when you're ready, just releasing. So hands to the floor, coming back to your neutral position. Readjust the spine. Same to that other side. So I'm only turning around so you can see it better. I think I've got my back. So you're coming to the other side. So I'm coming to the other side. I've just turned you around. So you're taking the left hand behind the right hand this time, lowering the side of the face possibly to the floor. You might be a little bit off. Obviously, you can't come into prayer twist if your head is off the floor. But if it is on the floor, the option to come to prayer twist is there. And remember, it is just an option. And you can see it just gets me a little deeper into my twist, predominantly into the upper back. You might feel it a little bit into the low back. Make sure you can breathe. It really is a lovely release for the back. Breathing. Okay, and then coming back to center, nice and slowly, always slowly coming out of twists. Okay, just easing out back a couple of times as need be. And then we're going to press back into child's pose, Balasana. So bottom towards the heels. Again, you might find you're hovering off the heels, but towards the heels, so your bottom is coming back. We'll keep it active, so we'll extend the fingers out in front. Head maybe to the floor, maybe you might be hovering off the floor. Walking into the fingers, maybe fingertips, spidering the fingers. Really stretches deeply into the shoulders and just taking a couple of breaths. We're going to come from an all fours position. From our all fours position, we're going to tuck the toes and we're going to lift the bottom and the hips up into downward facing dog. So you're lifting the bottom, lifting the hips, make sure you've got room. So you're going to take a breath or two in downward facing dog. So just taking a moment here. You can pedal through the heels if that feels nice, so take one heel down at a time. Okay, and then we're going to take the right leg, we're going to take it out behind. Okay, as you take it out behind, we're going to bend the heel towards the bottom. You're going to plant that or lower that back heel possibly towards the floor and open the hip. So you're opening out to the side, stretching the side waist. Okay, just taking a breath or two here. And then straightening the leg, swinging through, bringing the foot between the hands. Swiveling that heel down, so we're grounding down through both heels. Hips are level here, and then we're going to bring the arms up into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. So you've got options for hand placement here. You can keep them to the heart center in prayer. You can bring them up overhead. You can interlace, point one finger away, or you can just have the hands slightly apart. It just depends how it feels through the shoulders. Gaze can be up, slightly back, or you can keep the gaze forward. So just taking another breath here. Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. And then we take the hands down, either side of the front foot. We're going to step back into our downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Pause for a moment, really lift into the bottom and the hips. Shoulders away from the ears. Again, you can pedal through the feet if that feels good. So you're lowering one heel down at a time. Exactly the same to the other side. So the left leg comes out behind, bend the heel towards the bottom, opening towards the left hip. So you're looking under the left armpit, opening through the left side. A breath here. And then closing the hip, swinging the foot through, planting the right heel down so it's swiveling in. Hips are level as you come forward into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana 1. Arms can be up together, or you can keep them at the heart center. For high blood pressure or any problems with the shoulders, best to keep the hands low. Okay, gaze can be forwards, or you can take the gaze up, opening through the front of the body. Okay, breathing. Okay, taking the hands down to the floor, either side of the front foot, stepping back into downward facing dog. Just taking a moment or two here. Breathing, always breathing, release the head and the neck. Okay, with my blocks out of the way. We're going to take the knees down to the floor and we're going to slide the upper body down through Cobra. So lowering through into your Cobra. So remember, you can stay low. You can come into Sphinx, so your elbows are under your shoulders. You can stay with the hands under the shoulders, chest towards or belly towards the floor. You can come up a little higher, keeping your hips, your pelvis on the floor, Bhujangasana Cobra. Just taking a breath or two here, keeping the shoulders away from the ears, the heart is open. So you're working with a back bend here, heart opener. You must listen to your spine, so don't go too deep if it feels too strong. Tucking the toes, pressing back into downward facing dog. Okay, again, just a moment here, breath or two. And then I'm going to offer you another option. So we're going to come forwards into plank. So in plank, your hips and your pelvis are in line. Your shoulders are over the wrists. So we're not like this, and we're not sagging. You just want to find that kind of neutral position where you feel strong. Okay, so this is your other option, coming through Chaturanga Dandasana, keeping the elbows tight into the sides, lowering full body down, hovering, and then coming through into your option. So you can stay with your low Cobra, your Sphinx, your slightly higher Cobra, or you can come a little bit higher into upward facing dog. Okay, so again, your wrists under your shoulders, your hips and your pelvis are off here. You can keep the knees down just to make it a little bit kinder on the back. If you feel okay, active through the legs, knees are off, taking a breath or two here. Shoulders away from the ears if you're in upward dog, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, and then pressing back into downward facing dog. So just taking a moment here and breathing. Okay, knees to the ground, untuck the toes, and we'll come back into child's pose. So you can keep the arms forwards, keep it active, walk into the fingers, active through the shoulders, or you can take it down, arms by the sides, and just let the shoulders kind of melt over the knees. And just taking a couple of breaths. So we're going to look at a couple of standing postures, following on from our little flow, down dog flow. We're going to come wide into Goddess, Utkarta Konasana. Take the feet wide, the wide stance, breathing the arms up through prayer, and then exhaling down. Okay, doing the same again, breathing in, exhaling, coming through the center. One last time, breathing in, exhaling through the center. Okay, this time we're going to bring the arms up, breathing in, exhale, Simasana, lion pose. You're just sitting here watching the videos, no one's looking at you, so you can join in. Breathing in, exhale, eyes wide, tongue down towards the chin, breathing in one last time. Okay, staying here, coming into a side bend, we're going to take the hand, forearm onto the thigh, and just bring the other arm up. You can bring it over, you can keep it up. Gaze can be up or gaze can be forward, whichever you're comfortable with. Try not to lose the neck. So breathing in, you can feel the extra stretch with the arm over. Breathing. Okay, coming back to the other side. So forearm down, other arm up. So it can stay up, gaze can be up or forwards, or you can bring the arm over, gaze can come under. Just taking a few breaths here. You should feel it into your thighs. A nice long stretch along the side of the body. Breathing. Okay, and then coming back to center. Okay, we'll just come into a counter pose from here. So we'll level off the feet so they're parallel. And just take the arms behind the back. So we're going to clasp the hands. We're going to take the unnatural clasp. So however you automatically clasp it, move it along one. Okay, we're doing that behind the body. Opening into the shoulders, so you're just kind of opening rather than folding in. So keep the chest open, shoulders back, hinging from the hips, and then coming forward. So allow your body to drop, allow your arms, your hands to kind of come over. You might be a little bit restricted, so you might find you're more in this kind of position. That's perfectly natural, just a little bit of tightness around the shoulders, but just open, if you can, opening as deep as you can. So you are just allowing the shoulders to open. Once they're over the, kind of over this way mark, you've got a little bit of help from gravity. Okay, just breathing here. I'm gonna come back this way. Okay, and then we're just going to release the hands, so back onto the back. Let the hands come down towards the floor, so either to the floor or to the ankles or the shins. And just taking a few breaths. Okay, if your hands are to the floor, you can possibly walk them back a little bit. So you've got the heel of the hands in line with the heel of the feet, and just encouraging a little more depth into the pose. Okay, my feet aren't too wide. You can take them as wide as you like. You might find the head comes down to the floor if they're quite wide, but we're not preoccupied with that. Okay, a couple of deep breaths. And then hands to the hips. Coming back to standing heel toe. Okay. So while we're standing, we're going to take a look at a balance, eagle pose, Garudasana. So there's lots of different options for this depending on how comfortable you feel in balance. First of all, we're going to take the arms into place. So we'll take the arms to the side. We're going to take the, so your left arm under, so crossing at the elbows. And here's your option. So you can take the hands, if you can see, hands to the shoulders, the back of the hands together, or you bring the palms together. Okay, so possibly palms, possibly backs of hands, possibly holding the shoulders. Okay, so from here, these are your arms in position. I'm going to squat down a little bit. I'm going to take the left leg, I'm going to take the left leg over. So the left arm's under, the left leg is over. So you can stay here, so you've got the toe to the floor. You can bring the toes, the foot to the lower leg, or you can hook the foot round, if you can see this. Possibly bringing the thumbs to the brow center. Again, that's just an option, you don't have to. You can bring the elbows up a little bit. Again, if it feels too restricted, just keep the elbows down. And breathing. So finding a drishti. You might find that your drishti is in towards the thumb. It makes me feel a bit cross-eyed. So it might be better to have your drishti extended in front, so beyond the hand. Breathing into the upper back. So where you feel the restriction, or where you feel the stretch rather than the restriction. You can, if you want to, lower down into the pose. So you're possibly bringing the elbows down towards the knee. Taking a couple of breaths here. Okay, and then slowly coming out. Okay, releasing the legs, releasing the arms. Give me everything a shake. Quite strong standing legs. Garudasana. Okay. Exactly the same to the other side. So this time you take the right arm under, either holding back of the palms of the hands, bending down a little bit. You can take the right leg over, so toes can stay to the floor, to the low leg, or you can hook the toes around. Okay, so you've got your thumbs possibly to your brow center, and you can stay here. So you've got your drishti, your focal point. Find your balance. And breathing. So you're stretching deeply into the upper back. It's a heart opener. We're opening, creating space around the heart center at the back of the body. Okay, lowering into the pose, finding your balance. Elbows down towards the knees, possibly. Remember to breathe the whole time. Okay, you might feel a little bit unsteady. I'm feeling quite unsteady today. Coming up slowly, unraveling legs, unraveling arms. Give everything a shake. Garudasana, eagle pose. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a seated posture, Ekapada Raja Kapotasana, king pigeon pose. Lots of variations to this pose, so we'll look at kind of accessible variations. Really nice hip opener, a back bend as well. We're going to come from an all fours, lifting up into downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to take the right foot, so your right foot, you can take it up behind, but ultimately we're swinging it forward. So the right knee is behind the right wrist. You're turning the leg on a diagonal. So you should be able to see that once I'm sitting up, you should be able to see. So my leg is on a diagonal. My right heel is coming possibly towards the left hip. You might have a straighter leg if you have a good rotation in the knee. For myself, that causes discomfort in the knee, and I wouldn't push or force any kind of rotation into the knee joint. Let me take a block here so I can demonstrate where need be. Okay, so you're coming into this position, possibly back leg stretched out. If that causes discomfort, you just take a bend. Okay, so you keep a bend through the leg. Also in this position, you might find that your hip doesn't sink down. You might be off the floor. You can prop, if you have a block, you can prop a block under, or a cushion if you have a cushion. Just something to allow the hip to open and relax. Okay, so from here, we're just gonna take a moment, hands to the floor or to the knees. So you can see here, it's a little bit of a back bend. Breathing. And then working with it as a hip opener, we're taking our hands forward. So you might stay here. You might take the forearms to the floor. If possible, you might extend down. So if there's space, bringing the arms out in front, or you can just bend at the elbows. So you'll feel a really deep stretch here, outer hips, glutes. Just relax the upper body, breathing. You can really use the out breath to enable you to relax a little bit more. So you're just releasing into the posture as much as possible. And then gradually just walking yourselves up to sitting up. Okay, from here I'm going to give you an option. And again, I'm going to come around this way so you can see. So the option is to grab the back foot. So the back foot might want to come in. Actually, you can grab possibly both hands to the back foot. So just see that opening into the chest. You can hold here for a few breaths. Or possibly you can hook the elbow into the foot into the elbow, and then grabbing the hands, opening. Again, only if comfortable, okay? As it's the end of the session, or towards the end of the session, your body should be a little bit more open. Breathing, so this is mermaid. Okay, and then releasing. Pressing back into child's pose. Release the back. And then we do the whole thing to the other side. So you can come from your, so which leg? I did this leg, so we want to do this leg now. So we're going to press up into downward facing dog. You're going to take the left foot, it's going to swivel, so the left knee behind the left wrist, the left heel by the right hip, or ish. Again, feeling that stretch into the outer hip. Again, if the hip is not down, you can rest onto a block or a cushion just to kind of level the hips out. That's your option. Okay, and then you're staying here for a breath or two. Release the shoulders. You can take the hands onto the knee, taking a few breaths. Okay, and then as we're looking at it as a hip opener, we're going to take the hands to the floor, maybe forearms to the floor, maybe extending the arms away. Okay, and you can rest the head onto the hands if you prefer. I did wonder when my cat was going to join us. There she is. Okay, taking a few breaths and relaxing. Okay, and then walking ourselves back up to sitting up, and then the same options. I'm just turning around so you can see the kind of profile. So your option is to, possibly, you might not, you might be able to hold one foot. You might take both hands to the foot. So you're opening into the chest. You can see how that opens the chest. You can take a few breaths here. Option to come into not king pigeon, mermaid. So you're hooking, the foot comes into the elbow, possibly reaching the hand over, and then opening. So it's a heart opener again. You have to be a little bit careful because there can be a restriction here. So only if it's accessible, available to you, breathing, really opening through the chest. Okay, then releasing the leg, releasing the arms, kind of coming square on, pressing back and releasing the back. Let's just come right the way down. Shoulders relaxing. Okay, and then from here we're just going to come down. So we're going to come into just a release through the spine. So we'll keep the feet to the floor or the knees to the chest. Arms can come to the side. I'm just going to bring it here because I've gone in the way. So you're just going to take the knees to one side. Keep the shoulders grounded. So I feel that release through the spine. If you want to feel it more, you can catch the foot into the hands. Or just raise the knees higher, or you can take the top leg over. That adds quite a bit of weight. Okay, unraveling if you've crossed the legs, back to center, exactly the same. You can be gentle, lower down, higher. If you've room, extending the legs or crossing the top leg over. Just keep the shoulders grounded so you really get that twist through the spine, just taking a few breaths. Starting the process of grounding yourselves and connecting to the earth. Okay, you can rest the head in the opposite direction, bringing the knees slowly back to center. Just hugging the knees in, Upanasana, hands to the knees, breathing in, extending the arms. Exhale, bring the knees in, breathing in, and then exhaling. Okay, from here we're just going to come into Shavasana. So if you do feel chilly, you can put an extra layer on. I'm just going to extend the legs out. Ideally slightly wider than hip width, so you can see it encourages the feet to flop open. The same with the arms, palms uppermost, encourage openness through the shoulders, tucking the shoulders or lowering the shoulders a little bit. If you feel uncomfortable through the head, there's always the option to put the head onto a cushion or a pillow if that feels more comfortable. There's just lots of options, and then just relaxing. So giving your body to the earth, just releasing, letting everything go. We're releasing the effort of the practice into the ground, into the earth. Just starting by following the breath, taking a deep breath in, exhaling, releasing. Again, breathing in, exhaling and softening. Just allowing your whole body to relax, relaxing the feet, letting them feel heavy, relaxing the calves, the thighs. Just travelling up around the bottom and the hips, relaxing around the bottom and the hips, just feeling the whole of the lower body, just heavy and supported. Bringing your awareness to the upper body now, so around the spine, travelling up. Tension around the lower back, travelling up to the mid back, to the upper back, around the shoulders. Just everything relaxed, arms relaxed. Let the weight fall off your shoulders, hands relaxed, palms, fingers. Travelling up the back of the neck, the back of the head, letting the head feel heavy. Really at this point, just letting the whole of the body surrender to the earth. Whole of the body supported by the earth. The bones feeling heavy. The muscles relaxing, releasing around the bones. Just surrendering, letting go, letting the body go, letting the mind go. Just being in the moment, being with the body, being with the breath. And just starting to connect with the breathing again, taking a nice deep breath in through the nose. And exhaling and releasing. Breathing in again, and exhaling and releasing. Then we'll start to bring movement back into the body. So
into the fingers, into the toes to begin with. Just starting to bring energy back in. Okay, getting a little bit bigger into the wrists, into the ankles, maybe knees to the chest, maybe full body stretch. So moving, stretching in any way that feels good. Into the fingers, into the toes. Really stretching. Releasing. And then possibly coming onto one side. So you can come onto one side for a moment. Take a moment on your side. Just easing out of Shavasana. And then gradually coming up to a seated position. Okay? So just taking a moment, we'll bring our hands to prayer at the heart center. Just take a moment to come back to any thoughts you had at the start of our practice with regard to an intention, what you would like to bring in over the next season, the next few months, what you feel you should or could let go of. Just bringing your thoughts to a positive intention for the season that lies ahead. Okay, and just thank you for joining me in our practice today. Namaste. Thank you.